Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Carrie Jane, and in this video I'll be talking all about the 4 personal year number. But first, you're probably wondering why I'm wearing glasses. These are not prescription glasses. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know that back in November I had eye strain while I was trying to do NaNoWriMo because I had a computer in my face all day. And so right after that, I tried to figure out a way to prevent that. And so I got these. And these just simply block out the blue light from my screen. And normally I try to not wear these while I'm making videos. But today I'm doing a lot of computering and it would just be very helpful today for me to wear these while I'm making this video. So I apologize for the glare and let's move forward. I also want to apologize for taking so long to make this video. February was extremely busy for me, and maybe I'll go into the details in another video, maybe I won't, but I'm sure you didn't click this video to hear about my personal life, so I'll keep that to the side for now. And yeah. So I have been hesitant in making this video in particular because the 4 energy is very straightforward and it's hard to really get down into deeper things, because I think when it comes to that with this energy, that's going to be obviously unique to every single person, but it's very straightforward. It's kind of surfacey. Everything's based on earthly matters, and so I'm about to get into that, and I'll go into greater detail, but it was very hard trying to figure out what to say other than extremely basic things, just because of the nature of what this year typically brings for people. So let me start off with painting a picture of how the cycle has gone up until now. And I wrote this down so I wouldn't forget to mention every aspect. So in the 1 year you initiated a new path for yourself, and you walked down a long hallway, basically, that transitioned away from your old life. You know, the life that you previously cultivated, and, you know, that section of time, which was 9 years, where you had some other thing going on, some other chapter in your life. And then in the 2 year, you learned about balance. You were reminded of the need for love on this journey. You might have even been confronted with a decision, or have 2 opposing elements in your life that you know how to deal with. Do I pursue this now, or do I pursue that now? In the tarot, whenever you pull like a 2 of anything, a 2 of swords, a 2 of cups, etc., that's a very common message to that reading. It's like, well, you may have, you know, one or the other. You may have to make a choice, this path or that path, or, you know, how do I come to terms with like this element or this element of my life now that I started my journey, and now I'm confronted with this problem. Like, where do I go with this? Either way, you've cultivated a heightened sensitivity in this year, and you move on to the 3, where it's kind of like a time of play. You know, you build relationships, you're a social person, you have contacts now. You are, you know, you might have experimented with some things. You were reacquainted with the creative side of yourself. You remembered a favorite hobby that you had. It was fun. And now you get to the 4. And the 4 is the time where you have to build like physical space for your dreams to reside in. And this will look different for everyone. It's basically a year of getting your shit together. It's a year of tying all the loose ends. You might make a very major financial decision. You might buy a house, you might be buying or selling cars, you might be moving, you might even get married, you might start school, end school, start a different career path, anything earthly, essentially. But in this year, you are essentially cultivating a physical space for your dreams to live in. And as I was saying before, it's just so straightforward. It's like laying bricks or chopping wood. For 12 months, you get to chop wood. Hooray. But it doesn't have to be boring. I have no idea what's going on in your life, so this may be an extremely exciting time. It's like, I finally get to build my dream home. Like, it could be an actual home. Like, you might be trying to find a home, or, I finally get to pursue my career, and so I'm going to school now. I'm going to do 2 years of school, and then you have your 5-year plan, and you're starting it, and in this year you're going to build this foundation that's going to set you off on the next few years. But what's extremely important in this year is that you do the work, because next year is a 5-year, which is chaos and change, and if you're lucky, lots of fun and exciting things, but you might not be able to get to do the fun, exciting things if you didn't do your homework. So do your homework. Be a good student, be a good father, be a good mother, be a good, wife, husband, be a good friend, be a good citizen of humanity, not just of your country, but of humanity. Do the work. It's hard work. 4 is all about hard work. And it's actually a number sequence that I see all the time. And as a 5 life path, it's very dreary. I'm like, oh God. But the thing is that it's also a blessing, because doing the work means that there will be fruition. It means that you will have the house to put your life in. You will imagine if you had a plan, and all of a sudden, you were put in this situation where it just couldn't carry out anymore. And that's the necessity of the 4. That's the purpose of the 4. That's the blessing of the 4. When you move through this energy and you acknowledge what needs to be done in order to bring things to life, it will come forward. It will finally come through for you. And it's kind of overwhelming thinking of all the things that could be going on for whoever is watching right now, because it's straightforward when I say, oh, anything earthly is what's happening right now, but that's an infinite number of possibilities at the same time of what could be going on for you at this time. On a personal note, I just left a 4-month. And yes, within each year, you are moving through the 9 cycle, which makes things very dynamic. And that's a topic for another video, but keep that in mind too. That happens as well. You are going through a chapter within a year, and then within that chapter, you can zoom in a little, mini episodes, mini chapters. And so I just went through a 4-month, and I bought a car. I did my taxes. I had lots of family matters come up. It was it's 4 is taxes. Some of you are gonna be okay with this, and some of you I know are like, oh God. But the 4 is just, the way I can sum it up is just doing taxes. You're doing taxes for 12 months. And I think I harped on that enough, and I will try my best now in this next segment to like give you some advice on how to best successfully carry out this year and do whatever it is that you're facing. And I'll try to be generic so that it can apply to as many people as possible who are watching. The first thing that I will start out with is that facts are your best friend. This is not a time to be in dreamland. It may be hard for you to leave that place because the 3 is kind of fiery and it's very fun and it's playtime. Yay! But you gotta get out of that space and start doing your taxes. It's the only way. Facts are your best friend. Tune into logic. Be a Vulcan. Watch Star Trek. Be very level-headed, and it's not a time to be sugarcoating things. It's not a time to build, imaginary castles and just have everything be a fantasy. Like, you actually have to put something forward this year. You actually have to get out of the dream space and into Middle Earth, into this realm. And that will help you the most. If you do not get out of that space, things can go very wrong. There's a lot of things I can think of what could happen. I won't go into great detail, but if you want to have a good year, just remember that. Facts are your best friends. Approach everything very rationally. Get your head out of the clouds. And then anything that comes up during this year, you can handle. I promise you can handle it. So that being said, with the rationality advice aspects of this year, do not overspend. This is a time to save money because, like I said before, the following 5 years is going to be a lot of chaos and excitement, hopefully. You might even have the opportunity to travel or relocate or do something that will probably require money. And if you weren't saving and being very practical in the previous year, you might not have the means to do it. And now not only are you upset in your 4-year, but your 5-year was kind of a blow. It's a lot of hype for nothing, and then that can lead to other stuff, other problems. The best thing that you can do right now is know exactly what's in your bank account and exactly what that can get you. Do not try to do or get anything that is not within your means, period. This year is also very notorious for being a bit of an obstacle course, which to me makes a lot of sense because you're dealing with a lot of 3D matters, a lot of earth things, and so stuff comes up. And it's really, this is why it's just so important to be grounded in reality, because you don't want to get out of hand. You don't want to make the situation worse by not knowing exactly what it is you're dealing with, because it's really easy to make things worse by just reacting out of fear or reacting out of anxiety or impatience, which is also really easy to do. It's really easy to be impatient during this year because you're chopping wood and it just takes forever for anything on earth to happen. So it's like, God, when is something going to happen, right? I get it. Just keep chopping the wood. I don't know what else to tell you. Yeah. I also wrote down this. I said, your misperceptions of reality may have caused you in the past to underestimate yourself in the years leading up to this one. So, some people, when it comes to practicality, you gotta bring them down. It's like, actually, no, you're not the best at this area in your life, and you don't have that much money, and you have too much confidence. But sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes you don't have enough confidence in yourself when you should. Like, no, you actually are really good at this aspect, and you can do this. I put, realizing this can cause a renewal of identity and self-perception. And so that may be something that happens for you this year. I took a quote out of the Life Cycles book that I've been using throughout this series by Christine Delory. She says, "Your sense of identity doesn't come from what you do in life, but from the way you feel about life and your place in it. Pessimism and slow progress is natural, again, as a result of this 3D energy. During this year, as long as you don't stay there and move through these periods. Your efforts are not for nothing. Remember that. But for the life you want to have, your efforts are not for nothing. They are actively working towards the life that you want to have. And so it's just worth it. It really is worth it, I promise." And like I do in every video, I would love to share with you some quotes that Christine Delory found for the 4 life cycle. This one is from Sally Brompton. She said, "There is still a tendency to accept certain tenets or doctrines on hearsay, without making the effort to check out the logic or rationale upon which they are based. And that is as true of relationships as it is philosophical dogma." So there's something to think about. The other one is from Hermann Hesse, which is such a 4 person. "There is no reality except the one contained within us. That is why so many people live such an unreal life. They take the images outside them for reality and never allow the world within to assert itself. Because the 4 energy is a bit of a homebody, you might exit out of the 3 energy into the 4 and kind of go inward a bit. If you have a tendency towards introversion, it might be amplified during this year, because for someone who's a 4 life path, for example, their home is very important to them. That's where they often feel most comfortable, rather than out and about like the 3. So I think I've said all that I can say so far. Every time I end this video, I know that I forgot to mention things. And the thing is that when I do personal readings, which I do have available, and I will start to advertise it on here, there's just so much to look at. It's not just about the number. It's, well, what's this person's life path, and talk to them. What chapter in their life are they really? And then that's when I can really give good advice, and that's when I really have fundamental and useful things to say, because it's just so dynamic. I take these numbers, I combine them together, and out comes a very unique product for every single person. So please keep that in mind. And so, unfortunately, with these videos, it has to be kind of generic and vague, because I don't know the person on the other side of this camera. So keep that in mind. Just to wrap up the 4, I think that what I'll say right now is that the most important thing that you could do right now is just have direction, have a goal, whatever it may be, have a purpose that will benefit you the most right now. Have a plan, be very organized, be very efficient, and know that amazing things can come out of this life. I know that it's frustrating. I know that it takes forever for things to manifest here, but keep at it and stay hopeful. Try to stay positive no matter what. Stay in touch with your friends and family. And thank you so much for watching. I hope that I will be able to make and post the 5 personal year number next week. I don't know yet. Taking it week by week, guys. So please let me know if you have any questions. Comment below. Check out my description for more details regarding, my online content and where you can get a report from me. And yeah, until next time, guys. Bye.